lot in my opinion. So Gabriel is taking this time to do the pile shuffle, which is kind of important in the main Monarch. So Andy's also doing the pile shuffle now. I mean, if we already have 10% of the main Monarchs and then other Monarchs, if you see that they're like 4, now even 5 big decks, it's kind of a lot in my opinion. Okay, so after the handshake, we will see. Okay, so it looks like Gabriel is starting, yeah. So he's going to use idea, getting the idols.
So did we see another brick?
No, not yet. Pantism, discard Stormforth, draw the 2 cards.
Yeah. So we put the interviews and then we put pictures afterwards in between the rounds. Okay.
Expansion Pantism. Actually, of course, what he's going to show. So notice tenacity so far. Okay, so we see the domain. And does he go for, yeah, tenacity, strong ether, get the return, or maybe Stoneforth.
I would go for Stoneforth. Yeah.
So, famous players that are playing tournament. We have Dave Grovert, which won the Czechish nationals and topped several YCS. Got Marvin Weber, got second at the YCS Prague and third at the YCS Brighton back then, and also topped multiple other tournaments. Got Rafael Niven, which was in the top 8 this year at Europeans. Also got well, okay, so now Gabriel made like one of the biggest mistakes in the main Monarchs. He sacrificed Idea to summon and then summoned Kuras. Norman, why can't Kuras use his effect at this point?
I know you explained me this at YCS Vegas, because Idea is an early trigger, and basically it triggers at the same chain link as Kuras comes out of the deck, and Kuras is an optional effect, like with an when clause, so you cannot use the effect.
Perfectly explained.
Yeah! Yu-Gi-Oh! School by Robin Bachhoffner.
Okay,
like,
so yes.
How can you even fuck up this first turn so hard?
It's like it's not that hard fucked up. Like, okay, so we now don't know what he's playing, or well, we know it, but Gabriel probably is not knowing it. For face down Karkardi looks like Chainburn.
Does he have another ether?
Well, we didn't know about this one.
Yeah. Explains why he fucked up, but it also shows why the main Monarch is a really strong deck whenever you get to play actually, because you have so many resources and you can basically make a lot of mistakes and still win.
Put them on Dropbox.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I think it's the point at the moment.
Yeah. I don't even see the point of playing Domain Monarch right now. The only point of playing it, I think like it got hyped because it won US Nationals, and it was a perfect meta call for the US meta game because a lot of players there were playing the Brilliant Fusion XYZ Monarch build, and having a domain against this build, and they played a lot of Draco Pearl builds, so the domain was and Burning Abyss, but I think like not the PK version, but just the Burning Abyss version. But still, against all three decks, the domain is amazing. But in Europe, the metagame is a bit different. Here we also have a lot of like non-Draco Pearl Pendulum decks, which have a good opening play with like summoning cards from the hand, like big monsters and running over stuff. Plus, most of our XYZ Monarch players didn't play Brilliant Fusion, but actually, how's it called, the Quick Draw, or more like more consistent builds. And that's why Domain isn't a good meta call currently, because also Cosmo is around. Cosmo was merely present at the US Nationals, so you see here that the winning the US Nationals actually resulted in an increase in the main Monarchs being played in Europe again. Before that, it was also more focused on XYZ Monarch, but I think for this event and also for consecutive events, playing Domain Monarch is just the wrong choice, because you deprive yourself of the best engine in the one of the best engines in the game, which is summoning a rank 5 monster from your graveyard for free.
Okay, well, while explaining why Domain Monarch is more worse than XYZ Monarchs, we saw that Gabriel is taking game 1 by crucial Twin Twister and the Rubios play to get rid of the back row, or most of the back row. I think Andy maybe could have done something, but he didn't want to show anything, so let's go to the side decks. Or do we have any question from the Twitch chat?
If you think that Pot of Desires is good in Monarch, if you want to play Pot of Desire, you need to increase the amount of like Mega Monarchs you're playing, because a Pot of Desires deprives you of the resources to trigger your big Monarch effects. If you're running more Mega Monarchs, you don't need to have access to this resources. So then you just simply go for your setup play and then go for Pot of Desires, or you need to go for Pot of Desires before that because you bricked. And I would actually try out Pot of Desires because if you play the Monarch deck around this card, I think it could be like the unbrick card for the deck. But yeah, I didn't test it so far, and I would definitely play more Mega Monarchs to have more Monarchs. You can actually search with return if some of them are banished by Pot of Desires, and B, having more card effects to be used once you don't have any Monarch spells in the deck anymore.
I would try out something with Omega for sure, to get something out of these 10 banished cards. Monarch can summon it quite simple, so yeah. Let's go back to Andy Clark versus Gabriel Tala. Well, look at the side decks, and the side deck of Andy looks kind of weird because he doesn't play any Mask of Restrict, which is pretty good against Monarchs, especially as he plays like hand traps that can negate MST and Twin Twister. However, he's playing Rivalry, and the MSTs, which he has to put in for sure against Domain. And for Gabriel, it looks quite normal, like the standard.
And why does he need to put in? Because he needs to summon Psy-Frame Overlord, or what?
It's basically he can summon the Psy-Frames to the field, but the problem is as long as the main is on the field, he can't synchro summon.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I never read the cards and I haven't played against them.
it's actually kind of interesting, Psy-Frame, because they just set down one card and you're not sure if it's a brick or what it is exactly. It could be like a brick, it could be that he can play without any problems. Okay, yeah, so the first Psy-Frame card in the whole match. And this one can negate spell cards. You just special summon itself and special summon Psy-Frame Driver, I think.
Yep.
That's his name.
Driver. That's the one I know. That's the normal guy. That's the one you don't want to draw.
Yeah, and it negates the spell card, but it banishes both cards in the end phase. And the fields, and you need normally field spell, because it says whenever, if a Psy-Frame monster is summoned, if part is quite important, you can synchro summon afterwards both of these monsters into something, and it's kind of important to just get like Omega and all the other stuff to get into your game. I mean, only by negating cards you don't get access to the game, because he's always ahead if you just can respond and not acting something like, yeah. So let's see. He's playing 2 Psychic Field Zone, which is basically like an Omega when you have 2 banished, or any synchro monster basically. When you have banished Psy-Frame monsters, you have Psychic Path. Okay, so Gabriel bricked, or it seems like he bricked a little bit, which is, well, almost normal. What we've seen so far. Okay, so yeah, Psychic Field Zone. So he's sending back the driver and the Psy-Frame tuner, because all the effect monsters are tuners for some reason. And he can special summon now a level 8 synchro monster from the extra deck. I'm not quite sure if it has to be Psy, but I think he will go into Omega. Yeah. It's like, in my opinion, the best generic synchro out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Just way too many things that you can do with this card. But he's still missing the field spell.
What would happen if he has the field spell?
Then basically every negation turns into another level 6 or level 8, level 7 or level 8 synchro monster.
Why is this deck bad?
Yeah, it's not the most consistent one.
Okay.
It's also like the playtime is kind of weird, because if your opponent isn't doing anything, you can also do nothing, because it just react on the plays of.
And you need to have an empty field to trigger the card.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why he used Omega, because there's also.
But can't you play cards like
Twin Twist?
No.
No.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But how's Wind Up Rabbit, and there's another like the Evil Swarm guy.
Yeah, the thing is, with Wind Up Rabbit, for example, you have to banish it basically in the Stampy phase already, that you have the empty field again.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that great. I rather would play like with more Psychic Field Zone to play with the banished cards. And the trap is pretty good. Like, it's amazing actually. You banish a Psy-Frame monster from your field or from your hand to banish an opponent's card face down forever. And when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to add a Psy-Frame card from your deck to the hand. Like, it's everything. Okay, it's really everything. I like the deck. It's kind of cool to play if you like to play this.
The nice thing about Robin is that he has such a big heart for every underdog strategy out there. Like, basically, Robin has playtested like every deck, at least 20 hours. Even Dark Magician Vanilla Beatdown.
Like, the thing is, Psy-Frame is interacting a lot with your opponent, and not a lot of decks are doing it. Because for me, it's not interacting if you activate Storm of Ether or Storm of Airbase and just choosing the cards. Like, there's no interaction by itself. And Psy-Frame is like really on everything you have to ask for the response, and maybe there's something, maybe there's nothing. So yeah, I think now Andy's in a pretty good position.
Would be a perfect deck for Italians. If you've seen Natia's video. But yeah, I think like the deck. So, do you think like when we're talking about consistency, cards like Pot of Desires would help?
Yeah, sure. In Japan, every Psy-Frame deck is playing Pot of Desires. I'm pretty sure that Andy didn't got a chance to get any of these because I know him personally, and he's not spending that much on Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
So it would help the deck for sure. Because you're really just playing if you have the field spell. Otherwise.
But he's only playing one terraforming, right?
Yeah, it looks kind of weird in my opinion, but so far it works for him. So nothing I could say.
The terraforming is like number one candidate for the banned list, right?
It's kind of weird that you have to say that because back then it was like no problem, terraforming isn't that great, but nowadays every deck is playing their field spell and every field spell gets better and better and better, so you have to do something. And if you don't want to hit the engine cards itself, you have to hit the searcher. Like reinforcement of the army was exactly the same thing.
There's a glare. You mean the one with the graveyard of Gabriel?
I think Andy now has the field spell to do something. Okay, sure, doesn't matter. It's just like, it feels like wasting resources.
Maybe he doesn't want to win.
So
now he plays Burial of the Different Dimension.
Would be pretty good against Omega. Well, it's okay. Like Andy would lose his monster, but still in the grave, Omega has a pretty good effect. Like everywhere he is, it's so good, the card.
Is there a giant card of Omega?
I don't know. I would buy it immediately.
Okay, guys, just produce one for Robin.
Okay, so he doesn't have the field spell. He just have yeah. So weird. That's the problem in the Monarch matchup. I mean, if it gets out, to a resource game without the field spell, you have no chance. Even with the field spell, it's sometimes kind of tricky to stay with your resources in there. Okay, so Mitra.
Isn't Omega going to return?
Yeah. Mitra is pretty good because it gives his opponent a token, so he can't use the Psy-Frame monster from the hand. Yeah, he has to negate it.
But why is Omega not returning?
It returns only during your own static phase.
Yeah, okay.
Anything from the stream, from the chat?
It's just want to summon Vanity's Fiend to avoid resource gain.
Now some Didos, and now... Well, the good thing for Andy is that Gabriel doesn't have any cards in hand. There's just an Ether and Tenacity that is returning. Andy should have at least 2 cards in hand. So he's summoning Kuras, hopefully to destroy his own cards to get non-draws. Yeah. So if we're attacked, I don't understand the play. So he attacked the driver, activates domain, sets the stone for I think, and passes.
Maybe he doesn't want to give Andy the possibility to activate this spell that shuffles back.
Well, he already has like 2 monsters banished.
Yeah,
so
okay, but there's the only point to attack is just to deal damage, right?
it wasn't defense.
Okay, didn't see it.
Don't see any.
Maybe he just wanted to do something. Players always want to do something. That's why most players don't play good at gold format. Because gold format is like Psy-Frame. Activate as few cards as possible.
So he banished the Maxi, okay. So weird. Like there's really no real way for Andy to win now because he doesn't have his field spell. Was it really an attack position, the driver? Okay. Okay, so he's using the one that is destroying it. And then ends the battle phase, so no Monarch left on Andy's side.
They summon the driver also from the grave, right?
Yeah, from anywhere except the banished
Then
zone.
it was really dumb to attack the driver.
Not that clever.
Thank you, political Swiss Robin. Der Stream zeigt unsere Sponsoren gar nicht. Sollten wir vielleicht mal ändern.
So Gabriel's continuing. I mean, I think at this point, even if Andy draws the field spell, it's way too late to get back into the game. He can attack the Prime, deal some damage. Yeah. So at least he draw rivalry, so yeah. Maybe he can stop his open with floodgating him a little bit. And yeah, time to floodgate the whole thing. The thing is that Gabriel is, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he put in Typhoon because he didn't knew what his opener is playing. So he has like his 3 Twin Twisters, and I think 2 are gone already. So yeah. I can actually see the timeout incoming at some point in this match. Oh, okay, well, has a Kuras in hand. But, okay, well, this card doesn't do anything to Kuras. Just some, he can search a field spell, finally.
Beide zum Holen, oder?
Hm?
Beide zum Holen?
2-1. And yeah, there it is. After a round, no, he put it back. Okay, no, so we still didn't see the field spell after like 30 minutes.
What's this card doing?
This card is like the crazy trap. It says you can banish a Psy-Frame monster from your hand or field to banish a card from your open that is face down. Sorry, a card from your open's field. Banish it face down.
Did you really just...
Yeah, he did. He destroyed his domain and his Kuras.
Contenance.
Because rivalry isn't that much of a problem.
Maybe he has already Twin Twister in hand.
We hope so, otherwise I wouldn't see any point in this play.
It's almost, you just need to change the...
Okay, yeah, I mean, the sooner the better, so I can change the
Just, what's the next one?
Sollen wir ihm mal sagen, dass er uns was designen soll? Für die Sponsor? Kannst du ihm erklären, wie das dann... Wir machen einfach eine dazwischen, wenn ich die Unterlinie mache.
Then after that.
Oder noch fast besser.
Ja, Montag hatten wir die halt immer sonst.
He has to have Twin Twist.
Or Domain.
No, even Domain doesn't do anything.
Why? He can bring out Ether?
He already tribute summoned Kuras. I think I could get ready for the interrupt police. But no.
Yeah, you can do that in his opponent's turn as well. Bring out Ether.
Heroes. Mr. Omega is returning to the field. Now he has 2 times the trap and 1 monster. It's absolutely great. He doesn't have any Psy drivers left.
But isn't it the point where he should try use Omega Psy-Frame's Lord effect to put the driver back into the...
He has to, yeah.
But he didn't do so far, right?
He always managed it before,
Okay.
because there's a tricky play that Monarch players can do, and that's using Stormforth in Stampy phase or draw phase. And then you can use your main phase 1 priority to tribute the Omega and your monster away.
before he actually can chain the effect.
Exactly. Okay, so now the problem is he can't activate Ether as long as he doesn't have the tribute material on the field. He tried to activate Ether now with just a prime on field, and you have to first activate something that you have the 2 monsters. So he needs to activate Storm. Yeah, well. Ether is fairy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no reason to activate Omega at this point. Okay, he's going to attack it. How many rounds of Swiss? We're going to play 7 rounds of Swiss, I think, and then top 16 cut. And then yes, okay. He doesn't have the second. Well, actually, yeah, I wanted to say that the Ether is also counting. I think it doesn't matter at this point. Because the Ether is basically still in hand, so... yeah. I mean, Andy needs to draw, you know, like multiple psychic field zones and psychic paths to get back into the game. Or Gabriel is deck outing himself, which is also not that unlikely actually, if I see the deck size. So he banishes domain.
There's no point in doing that, because he can actually bring back the second prime from grave.
Yeah. Now it's the cool part. Exactly. Face down managed.
You won't get back.
Worked like Pot of Desires before it was cool. Or banished face down before it was cool.
It's the Psy-Frame.
Okay, so he tried to resummon his idea. So we're at the prime beatdown point. Because he has less life points, they're going in the direction of time, so he needs to put some damage on field. Did he draw another monster, I think? And he attack. 1/8 damage. Control. It's really weird, actually. It's really weird how he's throwing away all his options the whole time.
Yeah, but Cosmo went back a lot.
I think people just sold their Cosmos stuff
Well,
because
it's just like there's the mice, which is like the car, and the lion, which is and yeah, the problem is in America, it's just way worse because of their rulings. With the fact that they have to stay where they evacuate their effects and stuff, it's really cool.
So
Ich muss meine
use
Lebenspunkte noch aktualisieren lassen. Andy müsste schon 1300 Lebenspunkte verloren haben.
Wo? Yeah, our driver, yeah. Now it's okay. It's written. So the ether is on field. He didn't use his effect because probably there's no Monarch spell traps left. It's like seriously, it's like terraforming. Woo. So why didn't he use it already last turn? We see after probably 35 minutes the first Psy-Frame field spell in this match. The thing is, it doesn't do anything because it doesn't have any drivers.
But why can't he just now put back the drivers in the graveyard?
Because this effect is only in the open and stampy phase.
Yeah. And then he banishes all the time. Okay.
I think last turn there was
An opportunity where he could have done this.
no, basically a cheat from Gabriel by revealing Ether when he only had the Prime on field. I'm not sure if he used at some point a Stoneforth, but I'm pretty sure not. Okay, yeah, so let's see, he summons Ether, or he tries to summon it.
one more round.
Yep.
Okay, if you see it like this, it's actually okay that he always used his Ether, that he has to banish Omega, so he couldn't recover any drives. Okay, so now they're finally realizing it, that Ether is also counting. Kind of difficult. Also, to put that Omega up there, it's not possible. Yeah.
It should be game, right?
And he could survive with like 100 life points. Because Prime.
No, he just needs. No. Does he have an Erebus engrave?
I don't think so.
I think he's. If you forgot to search with return at least.
He couldn't search with return.
Because he forgot uses timing?
Yeah.
Okay. But
It's already at that point where he's not using Ether because he doesn't have any Monarch spawn traps left. So for Andy, thing to do is like drawing psychic field zone. Then he could be back in the game. But just potentially. Let's see. And another monster, I think. Or is it a trap? It's running nerf force, okay. It's like surviving another turn. They finally did it. It's time to run. I think he will lose because of life points.
Yeah.
It's like but we found now I can't check the standing of Alex Moffat because if his standing isn't that great, I can sadly not take him to the feature match. I don't understand this place. No, it makes like, why not trying to at least recycle one driver? Because at this point you can't survive like this. Like every turn just going to use Omega Shuffle and try to snipe a card out of his hand. Okay, so it's turn 1. I think there are 3 extra turns, right? Because they're playing with draw.
Yeah.
Or should it be 5?
5 extra turns.
Okay. The question is now, is he going for game or just, yeah, he tries to go for game and back to the deck. Like 3, 6, 6. It's okay. It's like 6 rounds, 6 cards left in his deck, so oh, and Gabriel is just trying to survive now. And yeah, okay. And now he can, okay. There's still a chance for Andy. Not that big one, but there's still a chance. Because now he has one driver back in the game. So
I still cannot understand how Gabriel is losing this game. I could potentially lose this game. It all triggered when he didn't destroy the rivalry with
oh wow, it's game over now. He didn't draw any field spell for like way too long, and now he draw all 2 in a row. So Gabriel is taking this because of timeout. Because yeah, with 2 field spells, there's not that much you could do. I mean, he has the last turn, but there's like literally nothing he could do.